Good morning, everybody, and thank you for joining us. My name is Donna, and I work for Expedia Cruises Team Friesen. And as you can see, according to the slide, we have all kinds of centers. We have Thunder Bay, Sault Ste. Marie, Sudbury, North Bay, Woodstock, Windsor, Burlington, Burlington North, Hamilton, Ancaster, Dundas, Sarnia, Barrie, Chatham, and soon to be opening in Orillia and St. Thomas. So today we're starting off the day with a large lineup for our trade show. So hopefully you're watching this at one of our centers, or maybe you're at home watching it after the fact. So welcome, and I'm just going to tell you a little bit about us and who we are. So who is Expedia Cruises Team Friesen? This is Sean and Tammy, our franchise partners. They bought their first center in 2007, so we are celebrating 17 years. Their first center was in Thunder Bay, and then their second one in Sudbury, and then we just quickly grew over the last 17 years to our big team, almost 15 stores. So we have a team of over 450 consultants from Kenora to North Bay, Windsor, Toronto. People have joined us and then moved a little bit around, so we have people pretty much everywhere, even though some places we don't have centers. So we are a host agency within a franchise system, pretty much. We are one of the biggest travel brand in the industry. So here is our locations. Again, Thunder Bay, Sault Ste. Marie, Sudbury, North Bay, and Barrie for the north. And Burlington has 2 locations, Hamilton, Ancaster, Dundas, Woodstock, and then right down to the south in Windsor, Sarnia, Chatham, and again, opening up St. Thomas and Orillia soon. And here's some of our team. We love to travel together. So you see some of us on beaches and on ships, and of course, some people in the centers as well. Just a good group of people. So why book with us? This is one of our very first trips we took with our stores as a group of people. And this team has traveled 7 continents. We're passionate travelers. The travel suppliers never sell direct for less than travel agents, which is a huge myth that I hear often, being in the industry for 15 years. And our mission is to help you create memories and fulfill dreams. That is what we want. So this is our leadership team. This was taken this summer on board Azamara. As you can see there, that is one of our suppliers who's going to talk to you today. And we are with some Air Canada vacation partners as well. So this is our managers and owners of Team Friesen Expedia Cruises. And here's our participating partners today: Rocky Mountaineer, Azamara, Globus, Avalon, G Adventures, Windstar, Region 7 Seas, Emma Waterways, Oceania Cruises, and Princess. So our suppliers, this is our lineup. Of course, you would probably already know this, but just to give you, we'll have a little bit of time in between each so you can chat, or if you have questions. And of course, if you're watching the recording, you could just skip ahead. That's fine too. Or you could just choose, if you're interested only in river cruises, there's a couple of choices. So you could do that as well. So here's our locations, and we'll make sure in between we keep putting that up, I'm sure. So with the phone numbers, these are the north, and then our central stores and our southern stores. So I just want to say thank you very much for coming today. And we are looking forward to hope you enjoy all the suppliers we have coming. Thank you. Good morning, everybody, and thank you for joining us today. I am want to introduce Jennifer. I was very lucky enough to travel with her this year on the amazing product she's going to talk about, Rocky Mountaineer. I was very sad. We were supposed to have 3 days on the train, but with what happened this year, we were affected. So we only got 1 day. And I have to say, it was the most incredible experience. Loved it all. My husband and I are looking to get back on it because we just thought, no, we missed too much of it. But I'm going to hand this over to Jen and let her tell you all about it. I know it's not just Canada, Jen, but we were lucky enough to do Canada. And I want to just share with everybody that, wow, that's all I can say is wow. Even with all the smoke this summer, it was still wow. So thank you, Jennifer, for joining us, and go ahead.
Awesome. Thanks very much, Donna. And it was a pleasure having you both on board. I am so excited to share a little bit more about Rocky Mountaineer with all of you. It truly is a journey like no other. And, what makes it so extraordinary is how we incorporate not only the scenery and the sweet and savory snacks and all of that into your day, but it really is the beauty of the Canadian Rockies and American Southwest. And it's a travel experience that is on most of your bucket lists. And we find that a lot of our guests are also celebrating milestone anniversaries, birthdays. So it's always a special occasion for guests when they're joining us. And my favorite part about representing Rocky Mountaineer is watching all those happy tears the first day that everybody boards the train. It's truly special to see how this experience resonates emotionally with most of our guests. So I'm going to start off telling you about our routes. Today, I'm just going to give you a quick little overview. I'm going to share with you some of the highlights of each of those. We'll go through the service levels as well. And I'm also going to share a little bit more about our new route as well. So we are a Canadian company. We've been around for over 30 years, and we operate 3 iconic Canadian routes through Alberta and British Columbia. And then during the pandemic, we actually expanded, which is crazy to think of, but now. But when everyone else was sort of consolidating or eliminating travel product, we actually expanded down into the US. So we have an amazing route down there, and it aligns with what we are doing in Canada, where we touch on the Canadian national parks. This route is through the American Southwest and operates between Denver and Moab, Utah. And if you're unfamiliar with Moab, it is actually the gateway to the Mighty Five national parks of the US. But I'm going to start off in Canada, so welcome aboard. And a day on board the train is truly breathtaking. It humbles me every time I have the pleasure to experience Rocky Mountaineer. We do start our days pretty early because we are a daylight only service. So we do not sleep on the train. We're going to pick you up at your partner hotel early in the morning. You're going to say goodbye to your big luggage because that's going to be tagged, and we're going to actually take that to your hotel where it'll be waiting for you that evening in your hotel room. And then once you're on board the train, it is an all-inclusive experience. So you're going to be treated to a 3-course breakfast, a 3-course lunch. We're going to have sweet and savory snacks throughout the day to make sure you don't get peckish. And of course, all your beverages are included as well, both alcoholic and non-alcoholic. Hopefully you'll see some wildlife. That's always really exciting when we see bears or moose on board the train. And we'll make an announcement, bear on the left, and everybody runs to the left of the train to try to get a glimpse. But I truly believe what makes our experience so memorable is our onboard team. So they are master storytellers. They're going to share stories about the flora, the fauna, a little bit about the history as well throughout your journey with us, and really immerse you in the experience. And then, as I mentioned, we do not sleep on the train. So we're going to take you to our midpoint town. We're going to transport you to the hotel for the evening. And you don't even physically need to check in. We've already done that for you. So you're going to be handed your room keys. You can go straight up to your room. Your bags will be waiting for you. And then, you can either get a nightcap or maybe go for a stroll before bed, and then we'll get up the next morning and do it all again. So we operate 2 different service levels in Canada. Our lead-in is our Silver Leaf, and it's a single level coach. So it's a great option for anyone that might have mobility challenges because you're not having to navigate the staircase. And with Silverleaf, you're going to be dining right at your seat. So it's an elevated experience similar to, business class on an airline where they're bringing linens and silverware. You're going to have your choice of main course to choose from. And of course, we have wine pairings throughout. And what I love about Silverleaf is you don't miss any of the amazing scenery, because like I said, you're dining at your seat and there's tons of leg room and they're very, very comfy. So you don't have to worry about, again, navigating the staircase or missing any of this beauty outside the windows. And this is a shot of our Silverleaf domes. Great viewing both vertically and horizontally. All right, so our upgraded service level is our Gold Leaf. So these are our bi-level coaches. So you'll actually be sitting up top on the top floor, and then you'll be dining downstairs. So this is an internal shot of the Gold Leaf up top. The seats are heated, they're very comfy, lots of leg room, just like in Silverleaf, but you're nice and high. So we're getting a little bit higher above the tree line there. And you'll be dining downstairs, as I mentioned. So it is assigned seating for both silver and gold leaf. However, downstairs in the dining room, it is free flow. So we'll ask you to make some new friends while you're coming down the staircase, and you'll be seated at a table for 4. Now, downstairs is a treat for sure. You have 5 options, if not 6, on some of the routes for your main course, which is incredible to think that everything is made from scratch. Everything is locally sourced and regionally inspired as well. So lots of great BC wine and salmon on tap. And we can cater to any dietary restriction that you may have or allergy. Just make sure that you ask your Expedia Cruises advisor to note your file. Gold Leaf also has this very large viewing platform where guests like to go stretch their legs, get some mountain fresh air, and take some videos and photos. Now, when to travel, because we are daylight only, Mother Nature dictates our schedule, unfortunately. So we operate mid-April to mid-October in Canada. And I usually get asked, what's the best time to go? So there's features and benefits of all seasons. I prefer traveling in the spring myself, just because there's still snow on the mountains. The wildlife is a little bit active because they're coming out of hibernation. The only downside to that is sometimes the attractions, if you're starting really, really early in the season, there might be snow or they might have reduced hours when you're out and about exploring on your own. Transitioning into the summer months, the days are longer, which is a huge benefit. You can maybe get in a round of golf or a hike or do some shopping or just people watch on a patio in the evenings. The downside is it is hotter, of course. And chances of seeing wildlife decrease just because there's a lot more tourists in the mountain towns, so they'd like to stay away. And then in the the fall is another great time, of course. You'll have some fall colors. The wildlife are also active again. It's a little bit cooler, and the main tourists have already left. So it's another favorite time of mine to actually travel in Canada as well. So going through the rail routes just quickly, our most popular is First Passage to the West. This is 2 days on the train with an overnight in Kamloops, and you can board either in Vancouver and travel eastbound, or you can board in Banff or Lake Louise and travel westbound. Now, the highlights of this route are the Vermilion Lakes, of course, and Castle Mountain, but one of my favorite is the spiral tunnels. And that is a phenomenal engineering feat. It's a corkscrew tunnel down the side of the mountain that allows the train to descend at a safe speed and grade. So when you're coming out of the tunnel, if you look up quick, you can see the end of the train entering the tunnel above you. This is our most popular route because it is the most historically significant for Canada as well. This is where the last spike was driven to unify British Columbia with the rest of the nation. Now, just a quick note about Lake Louise. I just want to make sure everybody knows that she is still frozen until about June. So if you do want to see her in her turquoise splendor, please make sure that you are traveling with us June onward to avoid disappointment. Our next 2-day rail route is Journey Through the Clouds. So this one operates between Vancouver and Jasper with an overnight in Kamloops as well. And we can't wait to get into Jasper again next year. You know, it's been a bit devastating what happened this season, but we can't wait to help them recover next season as soon as possible. Some of the highlights of this route, of course, are Moose Lake, Mount Robson, the highest peak of the Canadian Rockies. So high it actually has its own weather system. And of course, Pyramid Falls. It's a huge waterfall. It's about 700 feet and it pounds down over these two rock formations that give it that pyramid or triangle shape. And Jasper, as I mentioned, you know, it is Journey Through the Clouds is a good option if you want to be guaranteed to see wildlife. These are some elk in the national park, and there's quite a lot of them, so you're almost guaranteed to see elk. Now, our last Canadian route is Rainforest to Gold Rush. So this is a 3-day rail route, similar to Journey Through the Clouds. You can either board in Vancouver or Jasper. However, you'll have overnights in the towns of Whistler and Quesnel. So 3 days on board the train, overnight in Whistler and Quesnel. And this is a beautiful route. It's only offered in gold leaf, just to note. And one of the biggest highlight is how sound. And if you notice here on the left-hand side, the rail line hugs the coastline all the way up through the sound. And it's actually incredible to realize this is in Canada and it's in our backyard. It's so beautiful. You would think you're like in somewhere in Scandinavia. It has all these fjords throughout, and you're part of an exclusive group of people that are witnessing this beauty because it's only visible from the train. All right, and just a quick note, you know, all of our routes, if you've noticed, begin or end in Vancouver, which is awesome, especially if you would like to add us pre or post Alaskan cruise. So our season sort of mirrors the Alaskan cruise season, so we are a perfect fit for that. You might as well tick off 2 bucket list items off of your list in one trip. So we do have our classic packages. So essentially those would be 5 nights. So 2 nights before the rail journey, your overnight in Kamloops, and then 2 nights in a mountain town, whether that is Jasper, Banff, or Lake Louise. And of course, we do have longer packages as well. So one of our most popular is the Grand Adventure Eastbound. So this is a route that is only available going eastbound. It's a new one for a new package for 2025. So you're going to start off your trip with us 2 nights in Vancouver. We're going to board the train. We'll head over to Kamloops, overnight there, and then we'll continue on to Banff, where you'll have 2 nights in Banff. Then we're going to take you up to Lake Louise, where you get 2 nights in Lake Louise as well. And then we're going to go up through the Icefields Parkway, go out on the Columbia Icefield, and you'll have 2 nights in Jasper. So this is a beautiful itinerary that we've curated for 2025. And you literally get 2 nights in every one of the mountain towns. So one to take note of for next year. And of course, when you're in Banff, make sure that you do the gondola. It's usually part of our sightseeing. And then for the transfer from Banff for Lake Louise up to Jasper, we take you out on the glacier on an ice explorer. So this is part of your sightseeing transfer up to Jasper. So it's always a huge highlight. And then if you want something even longer, we do have our Grand Adventure Circle Journey. So this is a combination of two routes. So it's very similar to the first passage to the west, Grand Adventure. However, once you get into Jasper, you're going to board the train and you're going to take it back down to Vancouver on the Rainforest Gold Rush route. So essentially, you're going to have 5 days on board Rocky Mountaineer. So just another option if you'd like to continue on and do a second day on the train. And there's so much to do in Banff. It's great for shopping. There's lots of good dining. So spending a couple of days in Banff is a huge highlight for sure. And again, Lake Louise, you're going to have 2 nights there. The new spa will be open in 2025 at the property, which is amazing. And it's only available to hotel guests. And she is absolutely beautiful. Make sure that you go out to the tea room and hike out there and get some scones. They're worth the hike up. All right, so I'm going to transition to our US route and just share a little bit of information with you about that. Our Rockies to the Red Rocks route, as I mentioned, is 2 days on the train, boarding in either Denver, Colorado or Moab, Utah, with an overnight in Glenwood Springs. Now, this route is absolutely extraordinary. It's almost like being on Mars, if I've ever been to Mars, but it's all those incredible red rocks that you see in the movies and those old westerns. So we're taking the train right through the heart of that area. Now, it is a beautiful itinerary, as I mentioned, and just a little note, if you wanted to, you could also board in Moab and go the opposite direction. You would board in the afternoon though, so that gives you your morning free to kind of go off and do some hiking or maybe some other activities that are available in the area. You're going to have dinner on board the train and then get into Glenwood Springs that evening and still have time to hit the hot springs that are located right in town if you wish. So down south, we have our Silverleaf service, just like in Canada. So here's a great interior shot of Rockies to the Red Rocks. And of course, our menus are very Southwest inspired as well. So you're going to have chilies and polenta, and we bring in lots of amazing desserts and things from local bakeries, and we have local wine on board the train. I love this route so much. So down south, because the gold leaf dome is so tall, it actually can't fit through the tunnel. So what we've done, and it's exclusive to our US route, is we offer Silverleaf Plus. So this isn't necessarily a service level, it's more of an upgrade, one I highly recommend, to be honest with you. And it has to be booked with your travel advisor. You cannot book it like on the train in destination. It gives you exclusive use to 2 lounge cars. So nothing screams rail travel to me like lounge cars, right? So you get to kind of mingle and get to know your fellow travelers. In these 2 lounge cars, you can sip on handcrafted cocktails. They both have their own bars and mixologists. And this is the social hub of the train. So if you are a social butterfly and you do like to kind of get to know your fellow travelers, this is what I highly recommend for you. Then we're going to ring a bell or make an announcement at mealtime, and you're just going to go back to your regular silver leaf chair to have your meal service. And then you can come back and hang out with your newfound friends. So we do have a couple of package options for our US route as well to extend. One is a transfer up to Salt Lake City. So it's about a 4-hour transfer up there, but it opens the door for more availability to fly home back to Canada from the international airport. Or if you wanted to pick up a rental car or RV to kind of continue on to explore that area, it's much easier to pick up a rental from Salt Lake than it is actually Moab. So like I said, that's an option for you as well. And then we have a larger package that extends to Las Vegas, which I'll share with you in just a moment. Now, Denver, amazing, amazing city. So if you haven't been, I highly recommend it. Great culinary scene, big, big sports town, great art museum as well, and very easily accessible from the airport. The one thing I just want to remind you is it is known as Mile High City. So if you are sensitive to altitude, just make sure you come in a couple of days earlier. Let your travel advisor know that so they can book it accordingly, just so you can acclimatize. The worst thing in the world is watching guests board the train who are suffering from altitude and they just feel miserable. So, like I said, just a little tip. This is Glenwood Springs. It's our midpoint town. It is so small and charming. We use three really incredible boutique hotels here. They're very historic, very quirky. The hot springs I mentioned are just over the rail line there, and they're open till 9 o'clock. So you have time to kind of go and enjoy the thermal properties. And just like in Canada, your bags are already going to be in your room waiting for you. So, you can quickly go up and change and head over to the springs if you like. And then we're going to get into Moab. Moab is breathtaking. I truly believe that any destination that's a little hard to get to is well worth it, and Moab is no exception. It is so spectacular. There's a lot of local artisans and family-owned restaurants and things like that. Not a large chains, excluding gas stations and hotels. But it is absolutely beautiful, and there's so much to do there. We partner with the Moab Adventure Center. So if you're into soft adventure or you want to do some hot air ballooning, anything like that, they're the ones that you can really, reach out to and, customize your time in Moab to suit your adventure tastes. This is just a picture of the Arches National Park, the window. All of our packages include a Arches National Park tour. Love this park so much. Oops. And then, as I mentioned, Salt Lake is another option if you want to extend your time and grab a rental or RV, because it is just such a beautiful area of the American Southwest. So this is the largest package that we have. It's Rockies to the Red Rocks at Leisure Las Vegas. And it's available eastbound or westbound. So you can begin with 2 nights in Denver, then we'll board the train. We'll have our overnight in Glenwood Springs and then 2 nights in Moab. And then the second morning in Moab, we're going to pick you up in a Sprinter van. We're going to take you to Capitol Reef National Park, where you'll have time to go and enjoy that national park. And then we're going to carry on to Bryce Canyon. You're going to get into Bryce late afternoon, so you're going to have time to take in a sunset if you wish. We'll overnight there. The next morning, we'll pick you up and continue on to Zion National Park and then end in Las Vegas. So you can do that in reverse if you like and do the train at the end of your journey. And your Expedia cruise advisor can customize your Las Vegas stay to your personal preferences and budgets, because we don't include hotels in that particular destination just because everybody has their own favorites. Here's a beautiful shot of Bryce with the hoodoos and Zion National Park. And of course, like I said, Vegas, you can create your own memories there, and just let your Expedia advisor know which hotel you would like to add for your curated stay in Las Vegas. And last but not least, I have a couple of promotions. One is if anybody is looking for some last minute fall getaways, we do have some space available on our US route for the remainder of this season. So that commences October 20th. It's a savings of $2,100 Canadian per couple on any last minute 2024 departures. And then if you've traveled with us in the past and like to maybe try out that new First Passage to the West route in Canada, or maybe the US route, we do have an exclusive savings of $500 Canadian per couple on any Canadian journey, or $560 Canadian on any of our US packages for 24 or 25 seasons. So lots and lots of options for you. We can't wait to have you on board the train. And as Donna mentioned, it is absolutely breathtaking. So over to you, Donna.
Thank you so much. I was just looking at all the pictures thinking, oh, yes. And the bear, that was the one we did not get to see. That makes me
No,
have to go back.
definitely.
Well, thank you so much, Jen. It was amazing. And like I said, and before you started, I really, really could not imagine that was in our backyard. So I was blown away for sure. And yes, so thank you so much for coming on this morning and joining us. And if you have any questions, guys, stick around and you can ask your consultants at the store. Or if you are watching from home, you can contact one of our stores. Thanks. Thank you, Jennifer.
Bye.